Welcome to day 7 of my 6th annual SLAP challenge. SLAP, S-L-A-P stands for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We are doing 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day, every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And this is day 7 already. We have been doing this challenge for 1 full week. So if you would like to join the challenge, today is the perfect day to start. There's a playlist that has all of the workouts in chronological order. I will link it up here in the iCard. It will also be linked down below the video in the description box, and it will be linked again at the very end of the video just to make sure you can't miss it. So go ahead and click on the link, go to the playlist, and then click on day 1. Watch the video for day 1 of the challenge. That is going to explain everything you need to know about what the challenge is, why we're doing it, how to participate, and where to begin. So this is my 6th year in a row doing the challenge, and this year I decided to really focus on making sure that the challenge is accessible for super duper beginners. So if you are a beginner, you are in the right place. This challenge is perfect for you. Stick around because I'm going to be showing you the exercises that we're doing today. I'm going to walk you through each exercise, demonstrating and explaining how to do the exercises correctly. I will also be providing beginner modifications for you. Then we'll do a quick 5-minute warm-up and we'll get into the workout. If you are not a beginner, then what we're about to do today is probably not going to be challenging enough for you. So if you would like a more difficult workout, go ahead and check out the day 7 workout that we did last year during the challenge. I will link it up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked at the end of the video as well. While you're there, make sure that you save the playlist that I made last year during the challenge. It's the same challenge. We're doing at least 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. But last year we frequently were doing more reps, more difficult variations. We were adding weight, we were incorporating cardio into the workouts. So if you're more advanced and you have a little bit more time today and you're looking for something that's going to challenge you a little bit more, check out the day 7 workout that we did last year. But save both playlists because on days where you don't have a lot of time, or if you're feeling a little sore and you just want something that's a little bit more low-key, less intense, you can kind of bounce back and forth between the playlists. The challenge is really customizable. As long as you do 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of any ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day every day, except Sundays, you have met your requirement to participate in the challenge. So as long as you get your 160 reps done, plus your bonus burpee, it doesn't matter what workout you choose. It doesn't matter what variation of those exercises you do, and it doesn't matter how you get them done. So if you don't want to incorporate your daily reps into a structured workout, you can just do them throughout the day on your own. You can get up and do 10 reps of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. And then you can do that again after lunch. You can do another session of 10 reps of each of those exercises when you get home, and then you can finish up before bed with your last 10 reps of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. Whatever works for you is absolutely fine. As long as you get your reps done one way or another, that is the only requirement to participate in this challenge. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video, so if you would prefer to skip straight ahead to the workout, go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to see the exercises demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. So starting with squats, I am going to be doing a squat with a side leg lift. So before you squat down, the very first thing I want you to do is visualize trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. All right? You want your shoulders to be back so that you're kind of pinching your shoulder blades together and down, meaning away from your ears. So if you find your shoulders up here, make sure you're pushing them down, actively push them down and back. So just imagine that you're trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. That's also going to help you keep your chest lifted nice and high. And we want to maintain that lifted chest throughout the entire exercise. The next thing I want you to think about is really engaging your core. If you imagine that someone is about to punch you in the stomach, That's not much fun to imagine, I know, but it's just a metaphor. Just think about how you would brace for that impact. And that is how tight your abs should be, okay? So roll your shoulders back and down and really tighten up your abs. And now before you think about squatting down, if you think about your squat as kind of going straight down, what tends to happen is that your knees are going to be tracking over your toes. It's really easy to mess up your knees that way. So instead, what I want you to do is visualize trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. So if you do that, if I really, in earnest, try my hardest to touch that wall over there with my booty, look what happens. Do you see how now my weight is over my heels? And also, it's helping me to keep my back nice and flat. You want to maintain a nice flat back throughout the exercise as well, so you make sure you're not rounding your back at any point. So roll your shoulders back, keep your chest lifted nice and high, tighten up your abs, push your booty back, and at the same time that you're imagining trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, I also want you to think about trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. Remember, we're keeping our chest lifted nice and high throughout the entire exercise. So that's just going to help you really keep your spine elongated. It's going to help you keep that nice flat back. And then from this position, you can go ahead and sink down into your squat. Squat as low as you can comfortably without straining or pulling anything. I want you to explore your full range of motion, and I want you to challenge yourself, but I do not want you to push your body into something it is not ready to do. So it's really important that you're working to your own level. You're trying to at least get your thighs parallel to the ground if you can. If you are able to bring your booty all the way down below your knees and you want to, great. As long as you are not experiencing any pain and pushing your body into something it's not ready to do. So if you are not able to get your thighs parallel to the ground, then just come as low as you can, okay? The important thing is that your back is flat and the weight is in your heels. You should actually be able to pick up your toes. So squat as low as you can without pushing yourself beyond what you're capable of doing today. And then as soon as you've gotten as deep into the squat as you're going to get, I want you to press your heels into the ground, and I want you to visualize, very big on visualization, visualize actually pushing the ground away from you with your heels. So really actively press your heels into the ground. That's going to help really activate all of the muscles from your feet, through your legs, your glutes, and of course your core is already nice and tight and engaged the whole time. And that's just a basic air squat. I'm going to be doing that, and then as I stand, I'm going to shift my weight into one foot, and I'm going to lift the other leg and just lift it out to the side, keeping my leg more or less straight. I'm not kicking. There's nothing wrong with doing a kick. You can do a kick if you want. That's just not what I'm doing today. I'm just lifting the leg straight out to the side. If you don't have a very wide range of motion, and you're not able to kick your leg really high, who cares? Just work to your own level. If you're here, then you're here. All right? So you're going to squat and then shift your weight, lift the leg. Put the foot back down, right into your next rep. We'll be alternating sides with each rep. So roll your shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are nice and strong and tight and engaged. Push that booty back, hinging at the hips, keeping your back flat, keeping the weight in your heels. You're gonna sink down into your squat. And then as you stand, you're gonna press your heels into the ground, shift your weight to one leg, and lift the other foot straight out to the side. Other side. Squat, lift the leg, squat, and lift the leg. Now, if the leg lift is too much for you, eliminate it. Again, remember that you can just be here if you want to try just a little baby leg lift, just to kind of see how it feels. But if you have really bad balance and you don't trust yourself to be able to shift your weight into one leg, you can always use a chair for support. So now it's time for my chair speech, and if you've been following the challenge, you've probably already heard this speech 400 times. So sorry, but for anyone who's just seeing this video without having seen the previous ones, you need to know that if you are planning on using a chair to assist you for any of these exercises, it's really important to make sure that your chair is strong enough to support your weight, sturdy enough that it won't collapse or break or fold up on you when you put weight on it. So don't use like a folding chair or something like that. Make sure your chair is good quality and it's well made. And you have to make sure that your chair is stable, meaning that it cannot slide from underneath you. So I'm working out on a wood floor. What I always do when I'm using a chair is I place it on top of my yoga mat. So if you have a yoga mat or an exercise mat, place your chair on top of the mat just to help it stay put, so that when you put weight on it, it doesn't slide from underneath you and cause you to fall. It doesn't have to be a chair. Any elevated surface will work as long as it is strong enough to support your weight, sturdy enough so that it will not collapse or break when you put weight on it, and stable enough so that it will not slide from underneath you. So maybe you could use a piano bench or an ottoman or your dining room table, kitchen counter, the arm of your couch. If you happen to have like a plyo box or something, that would be ideal. But as long as your elevated surface is strong, sturdy, and stable enough that you can safely lean on it for support, then pretty much anything will work. So if you need a little assistance for the squats, you can just have your strong, sturdy, stable chair in front of you. You can hold on to it if you need it for the squats. If not, you can squat without the assistance of the chair and then hold on to your chair if you need it to assist you so that you don't lose your balance as you shift your weight into one leg and lift the other. If you do need to hold on to it for the squat, that's fine as well. So just use it as much as you need, but challenge yourself to use it as little as possible. But it's there to give you that added security so that you have the confidence to try to lift that leg and so that you can do so safely. And remember that if you need to, you can also use the chair to assist you with your squats by sitting into the chair. So you can stand in front of your chair. You'll roll your shoulders back and down. You'll keep your chest lifted high, tighten up your abs, push your booty back. And then you're going to squat into the chair. So make sure if you opt for this modification that you're not just falling into the chair. You want to really control the movement so that you are squatting into the chair. And then once your booty hits the chair, you can sit in the chair and put your weight in the chair. Then to stand, you're going to press your heels into the ground, straighten your legs and stand. Really engaging all of those muscles in your legs from your feet through your quads, your glutes, and make sure your core stays nice and strong and tight and engaged. If you are at this level, then that's all I want you to do. So don't think about shifting your weight and lifting the leg, just work on your assisted air squats, okay? So push the booty back, sit back into the chair, controlling the movement on the way down, then press your heels into the mat and straighten the legs to stand. If you just focus on doing 40 of those every day, and again, you can split them up throughout the day. You can do 10 in the morning, 10 after lunch, 10 after you get home from work, 10 before bed. If you just do 40 of those every day and focus on strengthening your legs and your glutes and your core, then eventually you will be able to do an unassisted squat, and then you can start adding a little leg lift and making other little modifications to increase the difficulty of your squats. But until you're there, this modification is perfect. If you are a super duper day one beginner, or if you're really overweight, you have terrible knees for whatever reason, that your range of motion is limited or you don't have a lot of strength, keep in mind that that is an absolutely fantastic place to start building the strength to be able to do an unassisted squat. Moving on to lunges, I'm doing walking lunges today. So if you are in a very, very small space and you don't have room to like walk back and forth, you can just do forward lunges. I'll show you that first so that you understand the movement, and then even if you can just take 2 steps, you can still do the walking lunges. You only need about probably, 10 feet of space, something like that, or 12 feet of space. So it should be pretty manageable, I think, but just keep in mind that you can always do forward lunges. If the walking lunges aren't going to work, But for a forward lunge, that is a cute puppy. Oh my God. It looks like a German Shepherd. It definitely has a German Shepherd attitude. A little sassy. Oh my God, so cute. Distracted by puppies. Okay, lunges. Okay, forward lunge. So you're going to start standing in a neutral position. What I mean by that is that your feet are going to be about hip width apart. Whatever feels comfortable for you, okay? So the point is that you're not starting with your feet wide apart like this. You don't really want them wider than your shoulders, but you don't want them like touching, like together, just about like hip width apart, all right? And then same thing as with your squats, you're going to start by tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets. So your shoulders are back and down, your chest is lifted nice and high, and you're going to make sure that your entire core is engaged the entire time. So tighten up your ab muscles. And then you're going to step one foot forward. So this foot is going to stay planted. This will be my standing leg. I'm going to pick up the other foot and step it forward. And then I'm going to bend both knees and sink down into a lunge. Now when I do my lunges, I do like to tap this back knee to the floor, but you may or may not be able to do that. Again, don't push it. It's not necessary to tap this knee to the floor. But if you can comfortably and you want to, that's fine. Just make sure you're controlling the movement. I speak from experience that if the movement is not under control as much as it should be and you bang your knee into the floor, it's not fun. So be careful. Make sure the movement's under control regardless of whether or not you're tapping the floor with your knee. But if you cannot tap the floor with your knee, that's fine. Just sink into the lunge as deep as you can. The important thing once you're down in your lunge is to pay attention to this front leg. The goal is that you want to have more or less a 90-degree angle in this front knee. No one's going to come to your house with a protractor, I promise. So don't stress about it too much. The point is just that you want to do your best to make sure that your knee is not out over your toes. Same thing as with our squats. You want the weight always in your heel. So you want the knee of this front leg to be more over the heel of your front foot as opposed to being too far out in front over your toes. All right? And then from here, again, you're going to just straighten your legs, pressing the ground away with this heel, and then step back and return to your starting position. All right, that's a forward lunge. So one more time. Shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high. Abs are super strong and tight and engaged. You are going to step forward with one foot, bend both knees, sink down into your lunge, then straighten your knees, press the ground away with that front foot and step back. So you can just stay there if you want. And again, you can hold on to a chair for support. That's absolutely fine. You can alternate legs, or you can do 20 reps on one leg and then 20 reps on the other. All right, so whatever works for you is fine, but I think that's a decent beginner modification. So if you need to hold on to a chair for support, it might look something like this. I'm actually going to stand a little bit to the side of my chair. My arm's gonna be just slightly out in front of me, so that as I step this foot forward, the chair is where I need it to kind of assist myself back up. Okay, does that make sense? So don't stand, if you start your lunge here, by the time you step forward, the chair isn't really helpful to you. You want the chair next to you as you're down in the lunge. So start just to the side of your chair, and then as you step forward and sink down into the lunge, the chair is right next to you, and you can lean on it for support, and then stand. So if you're going to do that, I recommend maybe just switching sides after every 5 reps or 10 reps. Okay, so maybe do 5 reps on this side, so lunge, and then stay on the same side, 2, okay? Do 5 reps like that, and then switch, and do 5 reps on the other side. And maybe just switch sides after each 5 reps, or 10 reps, like I said. Whatever works for you, just make sure that you end up even on both sides. So by the end of the workout, or by the end of the day, you've done a total of 20 lunges on each leg. But if you want to try walking lunges with me, you're going to start all the way towards one end of your workspace. And you're going to start by doing a forward lunge. So I'm starting with my feet in a neutral position, about hip width apart. I'm rolling my shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high. Core is engaged. I'm going to step forward, bend both knees, and sink down into my lunge. Now, instead of stepping this foot back and returning to my starting position, I'm going to bring my back leg forward. Now, if you need to stop here for a second, you can stop here, put both feet down and reset, and then lunge forward with the opposite leg. So I began by lunging forward with this leg that's closest to you. Now I'm bringing my back leg forward, and if you need to, this is a modification that might be helpful, you can stop here. You can bring your feet together, not meaning together like this, but together like on the same plane. So bring the feet, this foot forward, kind of reset, and then for your next rep, you can take the other leg. So now this is the leg that's farthest from you, lunge forward, and then bring this back foot forward and reset and continue in that way. So now with this leg that's closest to you again, another lunge, step forward with that back leg, and now I'm going to be out of frame, but I'm going to do the same thing with the leg that's farthest from you, forward lunge, bring the feet together. So that's a little bit of a modification. You're just going to go back and forth until you've completed 40 reps, alternating sides with each rep. If you don't have space to do 4 reps at a time, you can do 2 reps at a time. And if you have just absolutely no space, if you live in a closet, there's a modification for that as well. So let me first just show you that what I'm going to be doing is, instead of kind of resetting in between reps, my reps are going to be continuous. So I'm going to start by stepping forward into my first lunge. And now as I bring this back foot forward, I'm going to continue. It's not going to touch the ground. I'm not going to reset. I'm just going to swing it in front of me and go right into my next rep. So straighten the legs, this foot swings forward, and then bend the knees and sink down into the lunge. Same thing, back foot comes forward. So press the ground away, straighten the legs. This foot's going to swing forward, put the foot down, sink into the lunge. So you are just walking forward and lunging with each step. So you're walking, but each step is a forward lunge, hence the name walking lunges. So I'm going to be doing 4 lunges each way because I have the space to do that in here. So I'm going to be a little bit out of the frame from when I'm all the way over by my dining room table, but you know what I'm doing. It's all good. If you need to, you can just do 2 at a time. So you can go 1, 2, step forward, turn around, 3, 4, step forward, turn around, that way. Okay, and if you can't even do that, or if it's just too difficult doing the walking lunges, you can do what I call tick-tock lunges. It's basically just a forward lunge plus a reverse lunge. So to do that, I'm going to have this leg as my standing leg. And my standing leg is going to stay planted. I'm first going to take the other leg, step forward and do my forward lunge, just like we've been doing. And now it's a very similar concept to the walking lunges, but instead of taking this back leg and swinging it forward into another lunge, I'm going to take this front leg, and instead of just stepping it back and returning to my starting position, I'm going to continue that motion. I'm not going to put the foot down. I'm going to swing it behind me into a reverse lunge, okay? So, standing leg, this foot is not going to move. The other leg, I'm going to pick up the foot, step forward, forward lunge. Now straighten the knees, press the ground away. This leg is going to swing behind me, and I'm going to sink into a reverse lunge. This foot never moved. All right, so for the purposes of this workout today, I would count that as 2 reps. Normally when I count tick-tock lunges, I count 1 forward lunge and 1 reverse lunge as 1 tick-tock, and so that would be 1 rep. You can count that way if you want to, but you'll end up doing more reps than what I'm going to be doing. So I would say you can go ahead and count that as 2 reps. And so again, I would say do 10 reps on one leg, and then switch and do 10 reps on the other and switch back, or you can do 20 on one leg, but they actually get really tiring. That exercise is a lot harder than it looks. So again, shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are super tight, step forward, bend both knees and sink into the lunge. Now, swing that foot behind you, and that would be 2. Back into your next rep, back into a forward lunge for your next rep. 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? So that is another option if you don't have any space to do walking lunges. And if that's too difficult, then you can combine your forward lunge and your reverse lunge, but you can kind of reset in the middle, similar to the walking lunge modification that I showed you. So you could do your forward lunge and then reset, and then do a reverse lunge, reset. All right, so it'll be the same exercise, but instead of swinging the leg behind you, you're gonna start with your, let me do it on the other side so I even up my legs a little bit. You're gonna do your forward lunge, and then as you straighten these legs, instead of swinging this leg straight into your reverse lunge, you can, if you need to, step it back, reset, and then go into your reverse lunge. But it's gonna be the same leg swinging back and forth. So this foot that's farthest from you is staying planted. So then you could do your reverse lunge, step forward and reset. And that would be 2 reps. Okay, so then you could step forward, lunge, step it back, that's 3. And now into your reverse lunge, that's 4. Okay, so lots of modifications, but of course, as always, if none of these lunge variations are working for you and you need any further help with beginner modifications, I'm right here to help, so please just ask. And remember that you can do any lunge variation you want. It doesn't have to be walking lunges. It doesn't have to be TikTok lunges. You can just do forward lunges. You can just do reverse lunges. You can do side to side lunges. Literally any lunge variation you want to do is fine, as long as you get a total of 40 lunges completed throughout the course of the day. For abs today, I am doing knee hugs, which is exactly what it sounds like. We're just gonna hug our knees into our chest. So come down onto your mat. You're gonna start on your back on the mat with your legs extended straight out in front of you, and you can extend your arms up overhead. Then you're going to lift your feet up off the mat, lift your arms up off the mat slightly so that your shoulder blades are coming up off the mat, and then you're going to bend your knees and hug them in towards your chest. So you're going to reach around and grab your knees with your hands and kind of hug them in towards your chest like this. All right, and then you're just going to return to your starting position. So extend the legs straight again and extend your arms overhead again, and that's 1 rep, okay? Super simple exercise. So hug the knees, straighten the arms, straighten the legs. That's 1, 2, 3. All right, now if you need a chair modification for that, because it's too difficult to get down on the mat, you can absolutely use a chair to assist you for these as well. So I've got my strong, sturdy dining room chair placed on my mat so it can't slide from underneath me, and I also grabbed one of these little cushions that I use for my chairs. If you have one of these, it's going to make it a lot more comfortable, so since I have one, I'll demonstrate with the cushion on the chair. Obviously not necessary, but your booty will appreciate it. So you're going to come down and sit on the chair. Sit on the chair so that your booty is more towards the front. So you don't want your back, you don't want to sit all the way back in the chair. You want to sit more forward on the chair. So scoot your booty towards the front of the chair, and then you're going to grasp the sides of the chair with your hands to kind of sturdy yourself. You're going to pick up your feet and extend your legs out in front of you, and you're going to lean back a little bit as kind of a counterbalance to that. So that's why you want this space here. The point is that you're going to pick up your feet, extend your legs out in front of you, and then you're going to bend your knees and crunch your knees in towards your chest. And try to bring your knees and your chest together. So crunch the knees in, bring them as close to your chest as you can, and at the same time, I'm bringing my chest forward. You can kind of use your hands a little bit to kind of push yourself forward, but really focus on your abs, all right? Your hands are there to help you. This is an assisted modification. You're using the chair to assist you. So again, use the chair as much as you need, but as little as you can. Try to focus as much as you can on making your abs do the work, okay? But that is a chair modification that might be helpful if you can't get down on the mat, okay? So just crunch the knees in, straighten the legs. That's 1, 2, 3. And if even that is too difficult for you, you can keep your knees bent. You can stay more upright in the chair and just lift your knees towards your chest like this. If that's too difficult, you can let the knees one at a time and kind of march in your chair, just driving the knees up as close to your chest as you can. All right, so no matter what your fitness level, I don't care if you're like 400 pounds overweight, I don't care if you have the worst knees in the whole world ever, I don't care how old you are, whatever obstacle that you perceive as holding you back or that you feel would prevent you from doing this challenge or doing any of these exercises, I promise you, if you just decide you're going to do it, if you just make that commitment to say, I'm going to do this challenge, I'm going to find a way to get it done, I'm going to find a way to modify and work to my level, something, there's like a switch that flips in your brain, and you go from coming up with all of these reasons why you can't do something to looking at it's just a paradigm shift. And it happens as soon as you make the commitment and say, I'm going to do this. So instead of saying, I can't do knee hugs because I can't get down on the mat. I'm too heavy. I'm you know, whatever. My knees are too bad. I can't get down on the mat, so I'm not doing it. No. Instead, since you've already made the commitment that you're going to do it, instead of that, your brain just is going to go, okay, well, I can't get down on the mat because I have these obstacles in my way, and that's just not a realistic choice for me. So what can I do? What muscles is she working? And so how can I find a way to work those same muscles that fits into the parameters of what I'm capable of doing right now? All right, so I'm always here to help with that. If you're really stuck with you know, a certain exercise and you need help with modifications, I'm always here to help with that. But it is kind of fun. It's like a challenge sometimes to figure out, well, I can't do what she's doing, but how can I modify it to make it work for me? So I think using the chair is probably going to be manageable for most people, but if it's not, then find something else that's going to work for you. And remember that standing ab exercise that I showed you on day 1, because that is always going to be my go-to for super duper ultra beginner ab exercises, because all you have to do is hold on to your strong, sturdy, stable chair with one hand, and then with the foot that's on the outside of the chair, just extend that leg out to the side, bring your free hand up behind your head, and then crunch knee to elbow. So you're gonna lift this outside foot, bend the knee, and crunch. As you do that, you're going to crunch to the side and bring your elbow down to touch your knee, if you can. If you cannot touch elbow to knee, then you're just gonna work to your own level, come as close as you can, but that's what you're working towards. You just wanna really feel that crunch in your obliques. All right, so in that case, you're working one side at a time. So again, you would do switch sides after each 5 reps or 10 reps or 20 reps or whatever works for you. But there's always an ab exercise you can do. If on any given day, the variations of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups that I'm doing don't work for you, there's always a modification that you can do. So if you have not watched that day 1 video, make sure to watch that, because I really provided so many modifications in that video. But again, please remember that I'm always here to help. So if you're stuck for ideas and you need help modifying any of the exercises, please just ask. All right, so finally, our push-up variation for today. I'm going to be doing kick-through push-ups, and they're kind of difficult. It's a little bit more of an advanced push-up variation. If you're a beginner, it might not be doable for you, but it might be. All beginners are not necessarily at the same level. So whether you're a beginner or not, just work to your own level, but let me show you what I'm going to be doing. It's really just a standard push-up. And then after I do my push-up, I'm going to be adding a little movement, okay? So for your push-ups, remember that you want to always make sure that you are starting in a perfect plank position. So start by placing your hands directly underneath your shoulders, and then you're going to step your feet back and think of really pressing the ground away from you. So you want to make sure that you're not kind of like sinking into your shoulders like this. Instead, what you want to do is actively press the ground away from you so that your shoulders are away from your ears. The next thing you want to be mindful of is that you want your body to be in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders. So two of the most common things that people will do is they'll allow their hips or their belly to droop down towards the mat like this. That's causing an arch in my back, and that's not what we want. So instead, I want you to tighten up your abs and use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high. If your hips are slightly elevated like this, that's really not terrible. Because in that position, my back is still flat. As long as your back is flat, you're not going to hurt yourself doing the push-ups that way. Your back will be fine, and it will actually make the push-ups a little bit easier. So don't worry about it too much if your hips are slightly elevated. Ideally, you want your body in one straight line, like a plank, okay? When you're in your plank position. That's why it's called plank position. So if you think of your body as being just like a 2x4 that's propped up on one side, you literally want your body to be perfectly straight. That's what you're going for. All right, so it is more important to make sure that you're not allowing your hips to droop down towards the mat and allowing an arch in your back than it is to make sure that your hips aren't elevated. So hips elevated, not the end of the world, but ideally you want to try to get your body in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders. And then you also want to make sure that your head is in line with your spine. That's the other really common mistake, is that a lot of people will allow their head to droop down like this. So if you think, imagine that you're standing straight up against the wall. You want your head to just be perfectly straight up and down in line with your spine. And then keep your head still, okay? Once you've found your perfect spine position, your body does not move. This is a moving plank, so the only thing that's going to happen, you're going to bend your elbows and lower your chest as close to the mat as you can, but make sure that nothing else moves. So don't allow your hips or your belly to droop down to the mat. It's a very common mistake, so don't beat yourself up if you find yourself doing it. Most people do this until they really have, until they've really developed the upper body strength and the core strength to do it properly, but also until they've watched themselves do it. I think it's a really good idea to record yourself doing a few reps so that you can see, because a lot of times you are making one or more of these mistakes without realizing it. And to be able to see what your body looks like while you're doing the push-ups, I think can be very helpful. So don't beat yourself up about it if you find yourself committing any of these mistakes. Just be aware of it, and so that you can work towards fixing it. So I'm in my beautiful, perfect plank position. I'm going to bend my elbows and lower my chest as close to the mat as I can. But if I cannot get my chest all the way down to the mat, what a lot of people will tend to do is compensate for that by lowering their hips or their belly down to the mat. So my hips and my belly are touching the mat, my chest is still not on the mat. So you want to make sure not to do that. That's one of the common mistakes that you want to avoid. The other really common mistake, and I think it's related, because you know you're trying so hard to reach the mat. You're trying so hard to get all the way down in your push-up that it's really tempting, if you do not yet have the upper body strength or the core strength to lower your chest all the way to the mat. It's really tempting, and a lot of people do this. They'll get here, that's as far as they can go, so they'll lower their forehead down to the mat. Your forehead should never touch the mat. It is your chest, and only your chest, that you are trying to lower to the mat. Now, that's not to say that if your belly touches the mat, you're necessarily doing anything wrong. That depends on your body composition. If you have a belly that's larger than your chest, yeah, it's likely that your belly is going to touch the mat, even if you're doing the push-up correctly. Or if you're pregnant, okay, if for whatever reason you have a big belly right now, your belly's probably going to touch the mat. But the point is that you are not allowing your belly to kind of droop down towards the mat, causing your back to arch. As long as your back is flat and your abs are engaged, that's fine. Don't worry if your belly touches the mat. That doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it wrong. But the only part of your body that you're specifically trying to get down to the mat is your chest. So if you can't get your chest all the way down to the mat. I've already told you what not to do. Don't compensate by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat. Don't compensate by lowering your forehead to the mat. So what do? You just shorten up your range of motion, okay? As soon as you've gotten your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that one straight line from your heels to your shoulders, that's it, you're done, that's your push-up. So you're just going to reverse the movement. You're going to press your palms into the mat and push yourself back up to return to your starting position. So again, you want to visualize pushing the ground away from you. But that is how you solve the issue of not being able to get your chest all the way down, okay? Just shorten up your range of motion. So if you're here in your beautiful perfect plank and you bend your elbows and you try to lower your chest down to the mat, but this is as low as you can get, then you're gonna stop here. Then you're going to press the ground away from you, push the ground away, and return to your nice high plank position. And that's your push-up. And if you are doing knee push-ups, nothing changes. Literally the only difference between a push-up from a high plank position, push-up from your toes, and a push-up from your knees is the fact that your knees are on the mat. So starting here in your plank position, and put your knees down on the mat, and then everything else is the same. The only difference is that instead of that straight line being from my heels to my shoulders, my straight line is now from my knees to my shoulders. But everything else is the same. So my hands are directly underneath my shoulders. I'm pushing the mat away from me. My shoulders are away from my ears. So I'm not sinking down into my shoulders like this. I'm pressing the ground away. My abs are super strong and tight and engaged. And my hips are lifted high. I'm not allowing my hips to drop down, causing my back to arch. I'm using my ab muscles to lift my hips high and keep them high. My head is in line with my spine and it's not going to move. I'm going to bend my elbows and lower my chest as close down to the mat as I can without breaking that one straight line from my knees to my shoulders. And then I'm going to press the ground away from me and push myself back up. And again, if you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat, make sure you're not compensating by arching your back and lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat. Make sure that you're not compensating by lowering your forehead down to the mat. The solution to that issue is to shorten up your range of motion. So bend your elbows, get your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that one straight line from your knees to your shoulders, and then push yourself back up, okay? Press the ground away and push yourself back up, return to your starting position. So if you want to do the kick through, that's what I'm going to be doing. So we're going to start with just a standard push-up, either from your knees or from your toes. And then what we're going to do, so if you were down here doing a knee push-up, you're going to curl your toes under, lift your knees up off the mat, come up into your plank position. Then you're going to take one foot and step it forward so that it's towards this hand on the same side. So it doesn't have to be like all the way up here right next to your hand, but you know, more or less like kind of next to your hand-ish. As close as you can get it without pushing your body into something it is not ready to do, okay? So then what you're going to do is lift up this hand, the hand that's closest to this forward foot. You're going to lift up this back foot, bring it forward, bend the knee, bring the foot forward and kick through. Then reverse the movement. Bend the knee, kick that foot back behind you, put this hand down, and return to your plank position. All right, so it's a little bit advanced. You can try it if you want. If not, you can eliminate it and just do push-ups. Just do knee push-ups, or just do chair push-ups, or wall push-ups, whatever push-up variation works for you. But let me show you what it looks like all put together. So I'll show you from the knees first. If you're doing knee push-ups, you're going to do your push-up. Then you're going to come up to a plank position, step this foot forward, lift the hand, lift the opposite foot, bend the knee, then kick that back foot through, reverse the movement, step the foot back behind you, return to your plank position. That's one rep. You'll alternate sides with each rep. So now put your knees down for the push-up. Curl the toes under, lift the knees, come back into your high plank, step the opposite foot forward, lift the other hand, take this back foot off the mat, bend the knee, kick the leg through, then reverse the movement and return to your plank position. That's what I'm going to be doing. I'll be doing the push-ups from my toes, but same exercise with the push-up from your toes, okay? So, push up, step the foot forward, lift the hand, kick the foot through, return to your starting position. Alternating sides. So now push up, step the opposite foot forward, lift the hand on the same side as this front foot, lift the back foot, bend the knee, kick the leg through, hand down, and return to your plank position. So that's my push-up variation that I'm going to be doing today. If the kick through is too difficult, but you want to challenge yourself to do something more than just a knee push-up, you can try something like this. So maybe do your push-up, then come up into a plank position and just step the foot forward and back. That could be a thing. So step the foot forward and then just eliminate the kick through. You could do that, or you could do a couple of knee tucks, or you could tuck your knees to the side. Okay, then knees down, push up, plank, and then either maybe a couple of knee tucks, or maybe step the foot forward and back. All right, so again, it's about searching for solutions instead of seeing obstacles. It's about seeing through that obstacle, okay? There's always a solution to whatever obstacle you are facing. There's always a modification that will work for you. So that's one possibility. Remember also that you can do knee push-ups with your hands elevated on the chair. Having your hands elevated will make it a bit easier, but it's the same thing. You're just gonna start with your hands on the chair, bend your elbows, and get your chest as close to the chair as you can. Then push yourself back. If you can't get all the way to the chair, that's fine. A little baby push-up is great if that's all you can do. If your knees are bad and you can't get down on the mat, remember that push-ups off the arm of your couch or off of your kitchen counter are another great option. Or remember, you can always do wall push-ups. So let's go over how to do a wall push-up so that you understand the correct form for that. The same way when we were doing our push-ups on the mat, the first thing we did was make sure that our hands were directly underneath our shoulders. So you're going to take that position and translate it to a standing position. So you want your hands to be in line with your shoulders, not out to the side like this, not close together like this, but directly in line with your shoulders. Okay, so you're just going to stand close to the wall and you're going to place your palms on the wall, not too far apart, not too close together, just like they're coming straight up from your shoulders. Now what you're going to do is just step back just enough so that you're standing perfectly upright and your arms are all the way straight. From here, you're going to take a step or two back. But when you do that, pay attention to what happens to your shoulders. So when I'm standing closer to the wall and I'm standing upright, my shoulder is here. When I step back from the wall, my shoulder goes down a little bit. So what you're going to need to do is adjust your hands, move them down just a bit to make sure that they stay in line with your shoulders, okay? And then once you've found this position, this is your starting position for the push-up. So make sure that you're pushing the wall away from you. Your shoulders are away from your ears. Your abs are nice and strong and tight and engaged. Your head is in line with your spine. And this is still a moving plank, okay? So you still want that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. All you're going to do is bend your elbows and get your chest as close to the wall as you can, although in this position it is going to be your forehead that touches the wall, but you're not thinking about pulling your forehead to the wall. You're thinking about pulling your chest towards the wall. All right, so stand close to the wall, hands on the wall in line with your shoulders. Now take a step or two back and adjust your hands down a couple of inches so that they are back in line with your shoulders. Bend your elbows and keeping your body in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders. See if you can bring your chest close enough to the wall that you actually tap the wall with your forehead. If you're not able, to get all the way so that you're touching the wall. Again, you're just going to shorten up your range of motion. So you can come here. It's absolutely fine. But the goal is to explore your full range of motion until you're actually touching the wall, and then push the wall away from you to stand. You can even do that from your knees as well. It might help. I know sometimes it can be a little bit stressful on your knees. So if you have 2 mats, or if you can double your mat over a couple of times, that might be really helpful. I do find that those thicker exercise mats are really helpful too, but use what you've got. If you don't have an exercise mat or a yoga mat, you might be able to make a towel work. Just fold it over a couple of times, or maybe even one of those cushions from the dining room chair. Okay, so get creative and use what you've got if you don't have exercise equipment. But if you do have a mat and you need to do the push-ups from your knees, it might really help to just kind of fold your mat over a couple of times, but you can do the exact same thing from your knees, okay? So just bend your elbows and get your chest as close to the wall as you can, just making sure that you're maintaining that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, okay? So don't let your head droop down like this. Don't let your shoulders creep up towards your ears. Shoulders back and down, push the wall away, head in line with the spine, and keep everything perfectly still in that plank position. But that's yet another possibility. So again, just choose whatever variation works best for you, but that's it. That's all for exercises that we are doing in today's workout. Now here's the format. So my squats, lunges, and abs, I'm going to be doing sets of 40. So I'm going to do all of my squats in one set before I move on to lunges, then I'm going to do all 40 lunges before moving on to abs, and I'll do all 40 knee hugs. But the push-ups are so difficult for me right now. I am breaking the push-ups up into sets of 10 to make it more manageable. So here's how that's going to work. I'm going to start with a set of 10 push-ups. So I'm doing those kick-through push-ups. I'm alternating sides with each rep. You can do 10 reps of any push-up variation you want. Then I will go ahead and do my squats. I'm going to do all 40 squats before moving on. So I am doing my air squat with a side leg lift, alternating sides with each leg. You do whatever squat variation works for you. Then before moving on to lunges, I'm going to do another set of 10 push-ups. So by this point, I will have completed 20 push-ups. So I'm halfway done with my push-ups. Then I'll move on to lunges. I'll do all 40 lunges. So again, I'm doing walking lunges, but you can do any lunge variation that works for you. And then before moving on to abs, I'm going to sneak in a third set of 10 push-ups. Then I'll finish with 40 knee hugs. And then finally, I will finish with my final 10 reps of push-ups. All right, so that's how I'm going to get in all of my 160 reps today. Remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and I'm going to do the entire workout with you, so watch me do it, read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format and how everything fits together, if you have questions about the exercises that we are doing today, if you have any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I have already shown you, I'm right here to help. So please just ask. It is so important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury, and also just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. And you guys know it is also incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me, and especially so for this challenge. So I'm always here to help facilitate that. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. Please remember, especially if you are going to be working out along with the video, to go at your own pace and mind your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. That's a really good way to get hurt. I don't want anyone getting hurt. So mind your form, work to your own level, go at your own pace, be smart, listen to your body. Don't push your body into doing something that it is not ready to do. Another really important thing that you can do to help reduce your risk of injury is to make sure that you are taking a few minutes to warm up before you jump into the workout. And we're going to be warming up together. I'm going to continue throughout the course of the challenge to warm up with you. Typically during my workouts, I don't warm up with you. I just tell you to go warm up on your own. But since I am gearing the challenge specifically towards beginners this year, I think maybe it's better to assume that when I tell you to just go warm up, you might not necessarily know what to do. So we're doing the same warm-up routine that we've been doing for the first week of the challenge. We're going to continue doing this same warm-up routine for the rest of the challenge so that it becomes familiar to you, so that you're not relying on me to kind of coach you through it. You know what's coming next, you know how to do it, and then hopefully by the end of the challenge you'll kind of have it memorized, so that then when you want to go and do other workouts on your own, you have kind of a go-to warm-up routine that you can do before the workout. But it's really important to make sure that you're taking a few minutes to warm up before you begin the workout, because warm muscles are more pliable. So you're less likely to pull or strain something during the workout. Again, we're trying to reduce your risk of injury, so please make sure you take a few minutes to warm up. I'm going to warm up with you before we begin the workout. And then after the workout, it's really important that you're taking a good 15 or 20 minutes at least, if you can afford it. At least 15 minutes, please, more if you can, to stretch. You have to take at least 15 or 20 minutes to stretch. Immediately after the workout is the best time to get your stretching done because your muscles are nice and warm. The same way you don't want to jump into the workout with cold muscles, you don't want to jump into a stretching routine with cold muscles either. Okay, so if you don't have time to stretch immediately after the workout, that's fine. You can do it later on in the day. Just keep in mind that if you postpone your stretching until later on in the day, that your muscles will have gotten cold again. So before you begin your stretching routine, it's important that you take a few minutes to warm your muscles back up so that they're pliable and you're not going to overstretch or pull something. So if you have time, doing your stretching immediately after the workout is best. That's going to be the most effective and the most efficient time to get it done. But if you can't do that, it's fine. Do it later on in the day. Just make sure you warm up your muscles before you stretch. The important thing is that you don't skip your stretching. It's really important to make sure you're stretching every day, especially if you are experiencing muscle soreness after the workouts. Taking the time to stretch is going to really go a long way towards helping to alleviate some of that muscle soreness that you may be experiencing. And again, it's also going to help prevent future injuries, because if you are increasing your flexibility and training your muscles to be more flexible and more pliable and improving your mobility, you are going to be reducing your risk of future injury because your muscles will be more flexible in general. So it's really important for those two reasons, and it's important. Flexibility and mobility are very important in their own right. So taking the time to stretch every day is going to help to alleviate soreness, it's going to help prevent future injuries, and it's going to increase your flexibility. So please make sure that you do your stretching. I think that's it. Hopefully I have covered everything. If you are ready to go ahead and start this workout, grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you don't have a mat, a towel may suffice, but you are definitely going to be more comfortable with something soft beneath you. For our ab exercise, or if you're doing push-ups from your knees, if you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all. But if you have a mat, definitely go ahead and get that ready. Grab a strong, sturdy, stable chair or some other sort of elevated surface if you need to use that for support. Pause the video, get dressed, and then meet me back here when you're ready. We'll do a quick 5-minute warm-up together, and then we will get into the workout. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with a little 5-minute warm-up. So you're going to start by just lightly stretching the neck. We're gonna let our head fall to one side, and I'm just gonna place my hand on top of my head and just rest it there. I'm not pulling my head down. My hand is just resting on top of my head, and I'm letting gravity do the work of gently stretching out the side of my neck We're gonna switch sides, so now you're going to drop your head towards the other shoulder, and again, place that hand on top of the head. Make sure you're not letting the shoulder creep up like this. Push your shoulder down, and you're just letting this ear fall towards the same shoulder, and using gravity to lightly pull your head down and stretch the side of your neck. Now we're gonna do some little head rolls. So just kind of sweeping your head across, and then slowly start to increase your range of motion, making your circles wider and wider, letting your head get heavier and heavier, and just kind of fall down in front of you as you sway from side to side. Now we're just gonna roll the shoulders back, exploring your full range of motion. So make those circles with your shoulders as big as you can get them, okay? All the way up to your ears, pinch your shoulder blades together in the back. And now we're just gonna do some arm circles. So I'm gonna lift my arms to the side and start with small circles, and gradually my circles are gonna get bigger and bigger until finally I am exploring my full range of motion and making the circles as big as I can. Really loosening up those shoulders. Next, we're gonna step our feet wide apart and just bend the knees, sweep the hands down in front of you, and then stretch them up overhead as you straighten your legs. And again, you're gonna start small, gradually increase your range of motion, sinking deeper into that squat, sweeping the floor with your hands. And now keep your feet wide apart. You're just gonna lunge side to side. And now you're gonna reach across your body with each lunge. So really like you're throwing your arm across the room. Loosening up those shoulders. So now we're just gonna march. Just a little march in place. And again, I'm going to slowly start increasing my range of motion. So I'm gonna start bringing my knees up higher and higher towards my chest until finally my knees are coming up as high as I can get them. And now we're gonna do the same thing with a jog. So starting with a light jog, and then slowly, as the interval progresses, you can start driving your knees higher and higher up towards your chest until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can. Next is our little booty kicks. So this is still just a nice light jog, but I'm bringing my heels up behind me, trying to kick my booty cheeks with my heels. For this next one, you may need to hold on to something for support. You're just gonna swing your leg forwards and backwards, starting to loosen up those hips. So if you need to hold on to a chair or the wall or the arm of your couch or something for support, you can do that. Switching legs. So just swinging the leg forward and back. Just starting to loosen up those hip joints. And then next we're going to draw little circles. So extend the foot out in front of you, and then just draw a little circle on the ground, and then you can start lifting your foot off the ground as you make your circle. And then eventually, you can bend the knee, drive that knee up in front of you, and make your circle. Repeat that on the other side. So start with your foot on the ground, and then you can slowly increase your range of motion, lifting that foot higher and higher. And then finally, drive the knee up in front of you. I like to kind of guide it around with my hand as I'm making that circle. Now for this final interval, if you want to hold on to a chair or something for support, not a chair that's going to roll around on you, but just to demonstrate, we're just going to stretch our hamstrings. So holding onto a chair for support is going to help you to keep your back nice and flat in this stretch, which is what we want. You want to make sure you're not allowing your back to round, okay? If you don't need the chair, that's fine. Just Just do your best to keep your back nice and flat, just stretching out those hamstrings a little bit. And that's it. That is our 5-minute warm-up. All right, so our muscles are nice and warm. Let's go ahead and get started on our reps. We are beginning with push-ups today, a set of 10 push-ups before we move on to our squats. So I am doing kick-through push-ups, alternating sides with each rep. You do whatever push-up variation you want, 10 reps. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. I am starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So coming down onto the mat, plank position. Knees if you want to. Push up, step the foot forward, kick the leg through, return to your starting position. That's 1. Push up. Opposite leg comes forward, kick the other leg through, and return to your plank position. That's 2. 8 more. Last one. Right into squats if you can. If you need to pause and rest, pause and rest. You squat, lift the leg, alternating sides with each rep, 40 reps. So that's 3, 4, do your best. Halfway done. That's 30. 10 more, keep pushing. That's 40. Remember to go your own pace. So if you need to pause and rest, just pause the video and come back when you're ready. Next is lunges. But first, we have to sneak in another set of 10 push-ups. So when you're ready, here we go. I guess I should have worn sneakers because my socks are sliding on the floor on those push-ups. I thought doing them on the mat would be sufficient, but it's not working out for me. All right, so now you guys were halfway done. All right, let's move on to lunges. Whatever lunge variation you're doing, I'm doing walking lunges. So I'm gonna walk in this direction for 4 lunges. So set the foot out, lunge, back foot swings forward, lunge, lunge, lunge. That's 4. I'm over here. All right, coming back, step the foot forward and lunge, swing the back leg forward right into the next rep. So that's 8. So I just need to complete 10 sets that way, okay? So next set, so that's 9, 10, 11, and 12, turning around. 13, 14, 15, and 16. It's 20. Already halfway done with my lunges. It's 32. 2 more sets for me. So once more, moving this way. That's 36. So now finishing up with my final 4 reps. 37, 38, 39, and 40. My feet are sliding along as I'm doing my lunges too. I may have miscalculated my attempt to exercise my feet a little more by doing the workout with no shoes. Sometimes shoes are necessary, even if it's no impact. All right, so all we have left is abs, but first we have to do another set of 10 push-ups. I'll most likely have to break these up. I don't think I'm going to be able to do all 10 unbroken. Just do your best. That's 6 for me. If you don't need to rest, don't rest. Keep going. Just gonna finish this set of 10 push-ups and then do your 40 knee hugs. Finish up with your final set of 10 push-ups. I just need a rest. I'm so out of shape right now. These are so tough. If you need a longer rest break, pause the video. Come back when you're ready. We're gonna go ahead and finish up these final 4 reps. 10. Those are such a struggle for me right now. Next is 40 knee hugs. I'm just resting for a good 30 seconds or so before I begin. I just want a few seconds to slow down my heart rate a little bit and feel like I have enough strength to attack this ab exercise. So when you're ready, down on the mat, extend your arms overhead, extend your legs straight. Now lift your feet up off the mat, lift your shoulder blades up off the mat, hug the knees into the chest, and then extend the arms, extend the legs. That's 2, 3, 4. We're going to 40, just do your best. That's 20 for me. I told you before the workout, I have weakling abs. Even when I'm in decent shape, I've never had strong abs. So they're crying. I'm gonna rest for another 20, 30 seconds. See if I can do another 10 without stopping. So when you're ready, here we go. Picking up my count at 20. It's 30. Almost there. Just 10 more. Keeping my rest break to about 10 or 15 seconds this time, since I'm only recovering from a set of 10 and I only have 10 more to go. All right, that's 40. So my abs are done. We've completed 150 reps. We just have 10 reps left to go. This is the slowest I have ever done this workout, but we're almost done. Final 10 push-ups. I'm gonna see if I can again do the first 6 without stopping. That's my goal. When you're ready, here we go. That's 6. Just 4 more reps. When you're ready. 7. 8, just 2 more. That's 9. Last one. And 10. get up. If you're like me and you're maybe carrying a few extra pounds, not in great shape, it can be tempting to just collapse on your mat after that final rep. But you actually want to get up and move around. You can do a structured type of cool down if you want. I usually just kind of pace around a little bit, maybe swing my arms or stretch my shoulders out. Whatever works for you, but the important thing is that when you're done with that last rep, you don't just collapse. Get up and move around. Keep the blood circulating while you let your heart rate come down. So that took me exactly 15 minutes. I wanted to get it done in 10 minutes. So it took me way longer than I wanted to, but sometimes I think when my time is slower than I want it to be, I feel like I could do it a little bit faster if I wasn't making a video, because when I make the videos, I kind of talk you through it a little bit as I'm going. I do think that if I were to do the workout on my own, without recording it, without talking, I could probably do it a couple minutes faster. I don't think 10 minutes is a reasonable goal for me today, maybe by the end of the challenge, but I do think that I could probably do it a couple minutes faster. But that being said, I really felt like I was pushing hard today. I was doing my best, so whatever the time is, however long it takes you, as long as you got the reps done and you did your best, that's all that matters, okay? So that is our 160 reps. We are not quite finished yet. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just one rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So if you are a beginner, let me go ahead and walk you through how to do a beginner bonus burpee. You're going to start standing towards kind of in the middle of your mat. Bend down, put your hands on the mat in front of you, and then you're going to step your feet out into a plank position. Knees down for a push-up if you want. You can eliminate the push-up if you prefer. Then step the feet back in and stand. Come up onto your toes if you can, or if you want, you can add a little jump. If you are not a beginner and you want to try to do the push-up from your toes, let's go ahead and do just one final bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So when you're ready, here we go, final rep of the day. All right, with that, the workout is now officially complete. The bonus burpee is just something that I do after all of my workouts. And it's just that exclamation point on the end of the workout. It's a celebration and kind of a pat on the back that you found the motivation to get dressed and get out here and do these reps with me today. You just completed 160 reps with me. So as soon as I finished my reps, my first thought was, well, I was really slow. I did them, but I was really slow. I wanted to do it in 10 minutes, it took me 15 minutes. This is my worst score ever on this workout. I've never taken this long to complete this many reps before. That was my initial reaction when I finished the reps. The bonus burpee is meant to shift that narrative. It's another paradigm shift, okay? So with the bonus burpee, what we're doing is celebrating the fact that we got the reps done. Shifting the focus to, well, they weren't as good as I wanted. They weren't as clean as I wanted. I didn't do them as fast as I wanted. Shifting that narrative around and saying, I did it. I could have chosen not to do them. I could have cut the reps in half. I could have given up halfway through. I could have put it off until later in the day. I didn't. I got dressed. I got myself motivated. I got dressed and I did the work. So it's kind of just an exclamation point on the end of the workout to kind of say, yes, we did. Okay, and if you watched the day one video and learned all about Brutus and why we are slapping Brutus in the face with these reps, the bonus burpee in the context of this challenge is that last slap, that final blow to Brutus, We are slapping him across the face with these reps every day, and that bonus burpee is just that final slap across his face. It's the final nail in his coffin because we have shut him up for the day. He's got nothing to say because we did it. We got out here and we accomplished what we set out to do. Our reps are complete. So if you don't know about Brutus, I would really appreciate it if you would go back and watch that day 1 video. It's a long video, it's like 2 hours long, so you don't necessarily have to sit down and watch the whole 2 hours. But again, there are chapter markers in the description box down below the video, so you can skip ahead to the part about Brutus because there are 2 parts to this challenge. So we are doing 40 reps of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups every day. That is the physical part of this challenge. That's 1/2 of it. But there's another half. So in addition to our physical health, we are also addressing our mental health by taking on Brutus with these reps. We're using the slap workouts. We're using our squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups to shut Brutus up. So we are using our squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups to not only improve our physical health, but we are using those reps to also work on our mental health by silencing that negative self-talk that I think we all have to a degree, some worse than others, I'm sure. But I think that to a certain degree, we all have some of that negative self-talk going on. So that is also what this challenge is about. So I encourage you to watch that day 1 video. And again, if you don't have time to watch the whole thing, just watch the section about Brutus so that you understand a little bit more of what we're trying to accomplish with this challenge beyond just doing 160 reps every day. But our 160 reps, or I should say 161 reps, are complete for the day because the bonus burpee is mandatory. That is part of the challenge. It is kind of part of the workout. All right, so make sure that you do your bonus burpee every day. There are millions of different burpee variations. It can be any burpee variation you want. And if you need help coming up with a burpee variation that you can manage, please just ask. I'm more than happy to help you with that because you are not allowed to skip your burpee. The burpee is mandatory. You have to do that bonus burpee at the end of every workout. What's not mandatory is the additional cardio that I'm about to do and that I have been doing after each one of these workouts so far, and that I plan on continuing to do after each workout throughout the challenge. That is how I do this challenge every year. After I've completed my reps for the day, I like to tack on an additional 20 to 30 minutes or more of moderate paced cardio. So I'm going to be jumping rope again today. I have the lovely Victoria with me. Victoria is my beautiful silver jump rope with the pretty light pink metallic handles. And if you would like to know where I get my jump ropes, there is a link in the description box down below the video. There's also a coupon code. So click on the link and use coupon code Rebecca to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. This model, this is called Diamond in the Rough if you want this exact jump rope, but they have a ton of different styles. This one's a little bit more on the pricier side. There's cheaper ones as well. But what's really cool is that you can customize your jump rope. So you can choose the color of your rope, you can choose the color of your handles, and you can choose what design you want on the handles. And you enter your height. When you're ordering the jump rope, it's going to ask you how tall you are. Enter your height in the little box. And then when the jump rope arrives, it is already adjusted to the correct length for you, for your height. So I really think that these jump ropes are great. I've been doing these at-home workouts for over 10 years now, and these really are the best jump ropes I have ever used. I absolutely love them. However, I will be the first to admit that even with the 10% off, they're not the cheapest. I think they're reasonably priced. I think it's a good value for what you're getting because, again, they're really good quality. But it's fine if you just want to get a cheap jump rope from, a sporting goods store or Target or whatever. Just keep in mind that if you do that, yes, you can get a decent jump rope for $10, $15, $20 maybe. But it is most likely going to be an adjustable jump rope. So keep in mind that you're going to need to know how to adjust your jump rope to be the correct length for your height. All right, so you're going to want to make sure that if you step on the middle of your jump rope like this, so put your foot down right in the middle of the rope, make sure your handles line up so you know your foot is right in the middle, pulling the rope taut, and then bend the handles down. This part where the rope ends and the handle begins, right here where the rope attaches to the handle, that should touch your armpits, okay? So when you step on the middle of the rope, pull the rope up taut, that is where it should hit. The end of the rope should touch your armpits. So if you purchase an adjustable jump rope to save some money, I'm all for that. I've had many adjustable jump ropes over the year. I've gotten decent ones for $10, $15. Just do this, step on the middle of the jump rope, pull it taut, and then mark where the rope touches your armpit. All right, that is how long, that is exactly where you want the handle to be. So you're gonna wanna give yourself a little bit of room to work with, but there's going to be a way. These handles are not removable because this is not an adjustable jump rope, so I can't show you this part. But if your rope is adjustable, you're going to have to take off the handle. There's going to be a way to remove the handle, so there'll be a little screw. You can take the handle all the way off. Cut the rope. You might be able to do it with a strong pair of scissors. You might need wire cutters to do it depending on what the rope is like. I've had ropes that I needed to use wire cutters for. I've had other ropes that I was able to cut with scissors. But you're going to cut the rope, and then again, cut it a little bit longer than what you need, because then when you reattach the handle, you want just maybe an inch or so of space, so that when it's all put back together and you do this part, that the very end of the rope is touching your armpit, okay? So it's a little bit of a process to adjust a jump rope, but it's not a big deal. You can do it in a few minutes, and if it's worth it to you to save the additional money, go for it. Just make sure that you know how to make the rope the correct length for your height. But if you want to get one of these jump ropes, it's super convenient because they come already adjusted so that they're the right length for you. They're beautiful, they're really good quality. So, you know, click on the link and kind of poke around and see what looks good there. And just remember that you can always use coupon code Rebecca to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. But I am going to be jumping rope today. I'm going to reset my timer for 40 rounds of 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals. So that's 20 minutes. I'm going to be doing 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope. And that's kind of my go-to. 9 times out of 10, that's what I'm doing for my additional cardio. Sometimes I might go for a jog. Sometimes I might hop on the exercise bike. When I have time, I love to go for a hike, but that just hasn't worked out for me thus far in the challenge. And now we have all this rain. I don't really like to hike when it's raining. Everything gets muddy and slippery. So, you know, maybe later on in the challenge I'll have time to do a hike, but any type of moderate paced cardio that you want to do is fine. So jump rope is great. The treadmill is great if you have one, or exercise bike, elliptical, Stairmaster, or you could always go for a jog or a bike ride in real life if you have a bike. A hike is great if you have time and if you live close to hiking trails. Even just a brisk walk is fine. If you have access to the field at your local high school, you could always jog around the track, or you could do up and down the bleachers. If you want to stay home and you have stairs in your home, you could do up and down the stairs at home as well, or in your apartment complex if you have stairs in your apartment complex. If you have a heavy bag, you could work on your heavy bag. Literally any kind of moderate paced cardio that you want to do is fine. It is not mandatory. It's not technically part of the challenge, but it's something that I'm doing, so I'm just sharing it with you so that you know that in addition to these reps every day, I'm also adding on cardio. Just because I am looking to use this challenge to get back into shape, lose weight. I put on a little bit of weight over the holidays and I lost a lot of strength. So I'm looking to get stronger and more fit, but I'm also looking not just to build strength and build muscle, I'm looking to lose fat. So adding on the cardio after each workout is going to help accelerate that process, and it's also just going to help improve my stamina. And Jump rope especially is great because in addition to that, I'm also working my feet and my legs a little more. I'm working on my agility, I'm improving my hand-eye coordination. So that's why this is pretty much always my go-to. But you don't have to do the additional cardio, but if you're like me and you are looking to use this challenge to maybe lose some weight, get fit, taking 20 or 30 minutes to tack on a little additional cardio after the workouts is going to help accelerate that process. So not required, not technically part of the challenge, but recommended. But regardless of whether or not you plan on doing some additional cardio, please remember that it's extremely important to make sure you are taking time to stretch. Right now is the best time to do it if you can, but as long as you stretch at some point during the day, it's fine. But we talked before the workout about the importance of stretching, so please make sure that you remember to stretch at some point during the day if you don't have time to do it right now. But you guys, that is officially a wrap on day 7. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately, and even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you to everyone who's doing this challenge with me. I have some people that are joining this week. That's amazing. It is never too late to join the challenge, okay? And even if you are unable to do every single day of the challenge, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, okay? The goal is to do all 40 days, of course. But I understand that sometimes life gets in the way and you may not be able to commit to 40 days in a row. That is completely understandable. Just do as much of it as you can. So if you want to join the challenge right here, right now, today, you can just pick it up at day 7. Why not? You can start tomorrow with day 8. Or if you want, you can start the workout on day 1. As long as you start with day 1 on a Wednesday, all you have to do from there is just follow along with the playlist. All of the workouts are there in chronological order. Just start day 1 on a Wednesday and then it will all fall into place. It's super easy to follow along. So it's your challenge. If you're doing it, it's your challenge. So do it in any way that works for you. The more the merrier. So however you want to do the challenge, please just let me know that you're joining me and let me know if you need any guidance. I am right here doing the challenge right along with you every single day. So one final reminder that if anything is unclear about the format of today's workout, how you can customize it and make adjustments to suit your fitness level or your time constraints. If you have any questions about the exercises that we were doing today or general questions about how to do squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups correctly, if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I've already provided, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises correctly using the proper form, any questions at all, I am right here to help. Okay, so please never hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. So that is going to do it for today. I will see you all right back here tomorrow for day 8. Bye.